And we are live, right?
We are live.
Yes, we are live.
Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Hi, doing great.
Doing pretty great.
Yes,
It's been
it's almost Friday for
it's
us.
almost Friday. Yeah, I'm also almost there. It's been a while since I came to attended Cloud Chats. I kind of
Correct.
like forgotten the options. Like, what's happening here? But we did manage to get some couple of extra license with the tools, so that's good.
Nice.
We'll just wait for like a couple of folks to join in. Let us know, whoever is watching, from where you're watching, if there are topics that you want to discuss and chat with us on about, like, let us know. That's good. So we'll begin. We're gonna begin this week's Cloud Chats on pretty much like what Elon Musk says. What did you get done this week? I'm gonna ask, what did you folks build this week? Let's start with yeah, Narsi. What did you build this week?
Wow. Yeah. Actually, there is still a little bit of a work pending on that, but I'm excited because this is based on a feature that we recently added called Agent Insights to our GenAI platform. Basically, any AI applications that we are building definitely requires you to know the metrics. Like it could be basically when we are using the APIs, which are the LLMs behind the scenes. Then you will have to know how many tokens that you have used. You will have to know the performance, has it improved or not, or like first token, when did you receive. There are so many things, and also how much did you consume over a time of a week or a month. There are so many things that you will have to keep an eye, especially when you're moving to production and after moving to production for a certain amount of time and longer after that as well. So for that purpose, so we have introduced something called Agent Insights. If you have already used the GenAI platform, then you know that you have Agent Essentials, which talks about what agent you have created. Then it comes right below that, and I'm gonna show everything as part of the demo. We have already a couple of people showing the demos. That's why I'm just explaining orally. So that gives you the entire details about all those stuff that I talked about. Also the logs. It was not there before, so the logs tells you that what request came in and what exact time it came in, and if there are multiple agents, then how it got routed to a child agent or not. These are going to be like very useful when you actually have multiple agents built in, or even with single agent. Then if you're using for production purposes, then to maintain it, to improve it, so it is going to be very crucial. So my demo is going to be around these agent insights, how it's going to be useful for you if you are building AI applications using the AI platform. Yeah.
What is like the one feature that you think that we need to add that is missing currently?
I think it might be already in the pipeline. uh, so one thing, I think it might. So I think it's the citations. Probably it is or the versioning of. Let's say you have a prompt. You have changed it, or you changed it over the time several times to get a better performance or something. Then let's say you figured out that couple of previous versions, the version which was like two iterations before was better, then how do you move back to that? The current way is only to know that I used this. If you had stored it somewhere, uh, probably usually it's very difficult and people don't do that. So that is one of the things that probably I look at, because I might change some settings or prompts or anything in the agent instructions, and if I have to go back, then I think that would be one of the features that I will definitely look forward to. So yeah, that's something probably I would uh, look forward to.
Nice. Are you gonna do a demo right now, or you just like walk us through? What's the game?
Right now, I'm gonna not do
You're
that
gonna
because I
wait for
have
the
problems.
fight.
Yeah.
Good, good, good. How about you, Yash? What are you building?
Yeah, so I was just thinking like we are doing a lot of AI, so I thought let's put AI on Kubernetes. So I deployed Llama on my Kubernetes cluster. I will show in the demo how it is working. So it's pretty exciting. Like a lot of things like I have to create nodes, GPU nodes in Kubernetes cluster, and a lot of learning for me as well. I'll share through my demo how how it's going. So yeah, it's kind of like deploying the LLM on top, like Kubernetes cluster.
AI on Kubernetes. What could go wrong, eh? I'm looking forward to um, the demo. Have you checked out like the Sage GPT AI and other tools in this space? Do you know any other tools or any projects that people are working on currently on in this space? LLMs on Gates?
There is one project I know is which is the GPT that you talked about, not the other one, but I know about that one. I haven't got a chance to explore, but yeah, that's one project I got to know throughout my research this week. But
Yeah, maybe what would be nice is if you like when you have the time, just explore a couple of these tools that are in this space, and that'll also like inspire us to see what people are building um, and how we can like incorporate them into our demos, right? We embrace open source projects, as you know, that like we fund a lot of open source projects through our Cloud Credits program. So, and Oktoberfest, yeah, we're known for Oktoberfest. And so having these
Yeah.
projects and reaching out to them. So keep a lookout on any topic that you're working on, but like look out for all these open source popular projects that people are building in this space. And that'll be nice.
yeah,
Right, good.
definitely.
And then we have Haimantika, who's always there with the demo, right?
Yes, but now that you have hyped it up, I'm scared what if the demo fails. But I think I'll play safe and not
We,
really, demo.
it's fine even if it fails. Like everybody's building and breaking things in this space, and it's about like, see, the thing is learning from one another and what inspiring like the community and learning from the community as well what people are building. And that's
Yep.
the primary goal of things. It's not to one like show off like what we're building and things like that, but it's like for example, I went to AI Tinkerers Amsterdam recently, and I was just
Hmm.
amazed by yeah, like the use cases people are building, like the stuff that's happening in the research space, the stuff that's happening in the AI observability space, right? Um, and then there was also this amazing talk, which I will share the link to, where a person who probably this is some. I went on a rant recently, not recently, like a couple of weeks back on these agent frameworks and multiple frameworks like True AI and how it's like actually maybe it's changed now. I'm not like recently playing, but when I tested them, it actually did not do the stuff that I wanted to do. And then this person actually has gone through 8 different frameworks one by one, right? Um, and then eventually he builds his own. Uh,
Awesome.
he builds it from scratch because sometimes people like okay, this is popular and people adapt and then try it out, but it may not yeah, satisfy what you really want. So building from scratch while after having tested all this is like also I thought was a really nice way to use comparing and then trying to keep it simple, we'll just build from scratch. Here is an agent, we give it a context, we give it a window, we also give it certain tools, and this is exactly what it has to do. um, but if you think about it, these
Yeah.
frameworks under the hood is pretty much doing that.
Yeah.
Why add unnecessary bloat over things, right? Yeah. But I'll stop my rant and I'll let you share the screen and show us what you're building.
Yeah, but I think Abhi, what you just mentioned is a very, very cool and also useful addition because that's what is happening. And I feel it's not just true about AI, but any application that we are building, we should strive to make it simpler instead of adding more bloat to it. And on that note, that's also on the same lines why I built this application. Before I share my screen and start demoing, so I travel a lot, and it's just not me, but it's also like the traveling part started with my dad when I was young, and now that I have started earning money, so I keep traveling a lot. And so I have this tradition with my sister where every year during my birthday we go to some country. And while I travel nationally as well, I also travel internationally a lot. And as someone who is coming from a country where our passport is not very strong, a lot of problems that I personally face and travelers like me face is visa problems. Like if you go to any embassy or any government website, it's not the best, doesn't have the best performance. You are drowned with links under links. And I wanted to build something using majority of the DO products that we have today. So I thought that, hey, why don't I build a travel app and let's see how many of DO products that I can use. So I'll share my screen and I'll show you the platform that I have built. Oh wow, I have two of them. One is in localhost and one is hosted, but I think you can see the hosted version now. Yes.
Can you share the
So
local host one, please?
oh yeah, I can do that. Like it's local host one. Instead, there's in the hosted one there is one emoji that's breaking, but the local host one is in better shape, if I had to say it that way. But anyway, moving forward, so this is the local host one that you see right now. And so when you go there, you have an option to add the country that your passport is from. I'll choose India, and let's say I'm going from India to Russia because that's the next country that I want to go to see the Northern Lights. So I'll click on visa info, and if it works, I hope it does. So this is where I'm scared of live demos. Oh no, it did work. So here I'm using an API from Rapid API, and it gets us all, and this API is maintained regularly, so it doesn't give out any old information. So what it does is it gives us a bunch of other information, that this is the kind of currency, what's the time zone, the capital, and your passport must be valid for at least 6 months. And if you're planning to buy a SIM, the phone code starts with +7. And it says that visa on arrival or e-visa might be available. And then it links you to the actual embassy site. It doesn't link you through multiple links that might be required. So when I click on the link, this is where I'm redirected to. So this is where I feel particularly it will save a lot of my time. And now if you scroll down a bit, so this is where I am using our GenAI platform. And what it's doing is that when you tell that, okay, I'm going for 3 days, and let's say I'm going for the month of November, and when you click on help me plan my trip, the DO GenAI agent will give you a full-fledged itinerary. And not just an itinerary, but it will also tell you that since you're going in the month of November, it's cold, so make sure that you pack heavy jackets. And there's all of those details that it gives you, which right now is work in progress. So maybe in the next few hours this part will be ready as well. And since we are in the localhost version, so this is a feature that I just added, and this again is just for Indian travelers, because like I was trying to solve a use case for myself. So when you go to find more, I hope you can see, yes. And then let's say you say that you hold a US visa. So it tells you, okay, this unlocks 6 countries for you. These are some of the countries that you can visit either visa free or visa on arrival. So this is one part. And my particularly favorite part is the community part. So you can go ahead and mention places where you have visited, and let's say you can it can be a country or city. I have mentioned some cities like Dubai as well, and you can share your experience and you can share with the community. This is where I'm using our Postgres database. And let's say I'm going to Dubai next, so I'll click on Dubai, and this is a feedback that I had added about Dubai. So this entire solution is for travelers who wants traveling to be made easy and wants to see actual feedback from actual travelers. So yeah, that's the entire solution that I've built so far. And currently, I'm using App Platform for hosting my project. It already has DDoS protection, so that I'm hoping if this goes live and if it gets viral by any chance, like I'm praying for it, I am not under the DDoS attacks. And mostly I'll see how I scale it. I'll probably add some load balancers as well. That's in the future. But for now, I'm using our app platform, I'm using our Postgres database, and I'm also using our GenAI platform. So three DigitalOcean products are being used to build the solution. And yeah, I think I'll just keep it simple for now, and that's pretty much it. By this weekend, I hope to go live and have it out there for everybody to try.
This is amazing. Thank you so much for sharing it. Yeah, I know you shared a bit with me previously,
Yeah.
a couple of days back. But I would surely love to try it out and use it. And I even said like maybe you should connect it with like yeah, the flight information or other
Yeah.
local train information and things like that. This is the beauty of it, right? Like previously, if we had to have a problem, like we had a problem, we'll probably look for a service and then maybe like pay for it and then use it, or not pay for it, or there might be something. Now here we just build it. It's
Exactly.
it's just become that way. What API did you use? Do you mind like sharing it with the folks, like the link to that? Um, and I'm curious to also poke
Yes.
around it.
So for the visa information, I'm using this API called Travel Buddy. I'll just share the link here on chat in case anybody is interested. And for the one where it gets you details about Indian passport holders, it's a website that I scraped, and it's a website called visahacks.in, so that's the one that I scraped. But the main API to get the visa info is the Travel Buddy API that I just shared.
Okay, but I think anybody, it's not just in like anybody, like any other passport holders can also use this app, right? Like we could search for like your origin passport and then destination, and that should just work. And it's not just for Indian passports, right?
Yes, it's for everybody. So let's say I'll
That's
just
good.
go back. Since let's say your passport is from Netherlands and you are traveling from Netherlands to, where do you want to go next, Abhi?
To Netherlands, I want to go to Netherlands.
Oh, you're going to break my app.
Let's break your app. I'm gonna break your app. Let's see what happens if we say Netherlands.
See, the demo gods were on my side, Abhi, but okay, it's
Visa on arrival. Yes.
so now I have something else to fix. That if this is what you get, you don't give any output.
No. I mean, corner
But let's
cases and all
send
that,
you
right?
to Spain. I think you should go to Spain. Let's see what happens. Yay! You don't need any visa because
Nice.
it's
I mean,
typical
this
in
is
Europe.
yeah. It's Schengen. That's pretty cool. I mean, because you're sharing about this, right? Like there was this really nice open source project that I came across called Opik. Let me share that with the folks, or probably I'll share my screen.
Yeah.
I forgot. Share my screen. Can you see it?
Yes, I
Yes.
can.
So this is okay. Where is open source project? Let me search for it. Format Opik, and then you guys can still see it, right? Like, because I don't see the. You see the GitHub project?
Yes, you can see the repo.
Oh, cool. So this project was like I came across this project. Someone was actually demoing it in the AI Tinkerers meetup. This actually has a really nice framework to like built in for like observability of your agents, and also like a wrapper around PyTest to establish different types of tests. And since there was like a corner case that you just like we just tested in your app, so and this thing popped in my head, I'm like, okay, so how do we build, and it's something like what Pranav was also talking about was the SDLC, but for more for agentic workflows, how do you build like a proper software development for your agentic workflows? And I think tools like these with built-in instrumentation, with built-in testing frameworks for your agentic workflows are going to get really popular. And this is something that I really want to test. And if you, I'll share the link with the folks and also to the team, right? Like if it's something that you're interested in, try to incorporate this. It need not be this or like something similar as well. Um, but I thought that this was like well maintained and there's like an active community around it. So yeah, check it out. Um, let me share the link to the folks as well. Opik. Yeah, again, like these are the projects that we any projects that you folks also come across, right? Like if you feel like um is solid and it looks quite interesting, feel free to integrate it and test it out. Because at this point, like everybody is experimenting. And the more we like try to figure out, and it'll also help us, like as DO, we also try to um we would want to, as developer advocates specifically, we want to try out these and then test it ourselves and then share it with the community, right? So that we also take the burden of people, because every single thing it's popping up these days, every other day, and it's better that we would also share our insights on how we've tested it and how we are incorporating it into our workflows and like share it with the community. So that was that. And the reason why I wanted to keep, I'm not going to show like a live demo or something, but this is a project that I'm working on. It's still work in progress. uh, yeah, it's something along. I mean, the ideas along the application ideas along whatever you were showcasing, Haimantika. But I'm looking at it from a more um, architectural point of view. Is how do you build these agents at scale, and what happens when you when there are hundreds and thousands of agents talking to one another? How do we handle, or what would that architecture look like, right? Again, there's no right answer, and I'm in this journey of figuring out what is going to be that architecture. So I've been following quite some, and I've been reading some books around event-driven architecture, and I feel like EDA or event-driven architecture has a great potential um, um, for these multi-agent communication across like in a large scale. So what I did was, yeah, let me share my screen again, and I'm gonna give a talk around it. But for that talk, I'm like also trying to build
Finish
the demo. Narsi is aware of it because every day I'm like, dude, it's not working.
it. I know
Uh,
you'll. I know you'll finish it on time.
hopefully. And let me see.
I
Yeah,
think the
because
inner
the window.
engineer in us kicks in right before the deadline. At least that is what
Yeah,
happens to me
I
even
think
now.
Yeah.
that also helps, right? So this is like a really high level overview of what I'm thinking of, but it's still, I've not like coded anything yet, or maybe I have, but it's not done yet. Um, so it's basically I'm gonna have like these data sources, or I'm gonna introduce like I'm gonna incorporate like Kafka, Apache Flink for real time event processing and then event streaming. And I'm gonna get these data sources from Open Sky Network to get like real time flight updates, which is why your demo on the travel was like resonating with me, because I was thinking of it from like what if I want to book a flight immediately, like right now. and then I want to get like real-time flight information, weather information. But what if 100,000 people are doing it at the same time? How would my app handle it? How would my agents in my architecture, how are they going to handle it? So I try to hook up these open sky network. I'll share the links as well, like data sources where I get these real-time information and open weather APIs, pretty much, and then feed it into like have it as a Kafka topic and have these consumers, which are going to be my two agents. One is going to be like my booking agent, which is going to interface with my front end app where people are going to log in. They're going to like ask for, okay, similar experience as you just demonstrated, Haimantika. Like, I want to go from here to here. Like, just book the ticket for me. And then the agent, the booking agent is going to kick in, understand that, and it's going to contact the flight radar agent, which is subscribed to these real-time updates, get that info, make that decision on your behalf, and then, yeah, call the right APIs to book the tickets. I mean, I won't go all the way up to booking the tickets, but at least like surfacing what's going to be the best uh, airline option based on, yeah, your weather and the timing and all that. So this is where my head's at. And then there's also I wanted to add more complexity as usual and see how incorporate A2A protocol between these two agents. I'm not worried about that right now, but first I'm like, will this even work? So I'm actually testing it out like uh first to see if how this flow would look like and what would the actual business flow look like. Because in event-driven architecture, you can like translate it to your business flow, basically. And that's the beauty of it. You're like, okay, a user asks for this, something else happens, and that's an event. And then when that event kicks in, what needs to happen? So when you start thinking about your business flow in events, right? It makes it easier, at least for me, to like design how the internal communication is going to look like. Yeah. So this is an approach. I'm not saying this is the way to do it. This is how I'm trying to build it, and then we'll see where we end up eventually. That's the goal.
Abhi, I think this is really cool. Just one thought that I had while seeing your explanation is that will it also have or suggest flights based on feedback? For example, that we know that some airlines are really bad, that they might lose luggage, they might not be on time, they might end up canceling. So is there a way to also add that? So when I'm booking flights, I have been there when I was traveling internationally for the first time, and I booked really horrible flights, and it gave me a very bad travel experience. So do you want to also add that, maybe? What do you think?
Um, I mean, it's a good suggestion. The problem I'm trying to solve here is not the application. So I really do not care about the application. For me, the application doesn't matter. It can be a travel app, it can be some other app. Um,
Yeah.
my focus and what I want to solve, or the problem that I want to address, is large scale interactions between agents, real time processing, and how are we going to handle this? A travel app is an application of that, right? It can be like a sales lead app, like someone, let's say we go to these events and scan your codes, and then they're like, we go to the hundreds of people come at the booth, each one wants to try something. How are we going to handle it? And let's say at the same time it's happening across multiple regions. How are we going to handle it? So that's the problem I'm trying to solve. And once I have this framework in place, I think any app or adding more features on top of the application itself. So I want to decouple it. I want to decouple the app and I want to decouple the infra. And once you
Yeah.
decouple this, you can replace it with like any other app. The booking agent can be some other agent. It can be storytelling agent. It can be like a like a video processing agent or something else. So I'm trying to solve the communication here, but it's a good suggestion. Like I'm not like focused on the app right now, but that's something that we can definitely improve. And,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think the architecture part is more important for sure. It will
Yeah,
help a lot of
Brianna.
things.
Yeah, logistics. Yeah, it's basically I'm looking at it like a factory, right? You're in a factory, and then let's say we're building this production line, right? So there's a people think of these agents as like different um parts of the production line. Someone's like, let's say I take a car, right? Someone's having the drivetrain, someone's fitting the tires, someone's fitting the body, someone's painting, right? And then it keeps going. The person or the agent who's painting the car is not worried about the tires. They're only focused on painting the body. So you're
Yeah.
decoupling each one's responsibility, and that's how these agents are going to have like narrowed singular responsibilities. And each agent is not like bothered about the tire changing or the body paint or anything. Body paint agent is only going to focus on body paint. Tire changing agent is only going to focus on tire changing, right? It doesn't matter if the car is a BMW or whatever, or a Honda, it doesn't matter. For them, it's like, I'm an agent, I have to change the tire. So you're decoupling this, and then you're setting up the streamline, the pipeline. I mean, it's good to visualize it like that, but to actually implement it is quite challenging. It's fun to like just talk about it and say, yes, here's a production line, here are multiple agents talking to it. There's so much to think about, like synchronization. Yeah, there's much more complexity involved, and I'm realizing that as and when I'm like trying to build this. So that's why I want to keep it really simple. Just two agents, two singular focus. They're talking to one another, and there is one problem, and that problem is going to be in that production line. And how are we going to solve it? Are you going to punish? Yes, we. Yeah, we should probably punish them. So that's the thought process, and hopefully we get there or not. Or if I fail miserably, I'll also share my learnings and what I think should be we should have considered. Um, but this is an interesting space, and it's going to involve like Kafka and Flink and a couple of other tools that I'm looking at. We'll see where we end up.
Yeah, I'm really hopeful about these agents when actually we can build and test it out completely with the memory and the LLM and the prompts. I mean, what I actually like about them is because previously, if you have to build something similar, then you have to have a lot of rules in place. You have to say that when this happens, do this and things like that. Completely like a robust system you have to build. But I think that if you're going to replace that with these kind of agents, then we are giving a little more autonomy to do that. No, I need to achieve this goal, achieve via this route or this route, or that's up to you, but I need this, and use whatever the resources and tools and that is at your disposal to get it done. Because of that thing, I feel that there is a good possibility of the success, to get this and get this done faster, as well as, of course, I think about the accuracy of that, you might have to wait and try it out multiple times to get the accuracy better. But still, I think it's going to be more intelligent and scalable compared to the other systems, or the traditional systems that we used to build. Because of that, I am very hopeful of this particular solution and similar solutions that are going to be built like this.
Yeah, I mean, it's the trick is like how much decoupling
Yeah,
is is where do we draw the line of decoupling
line.
here?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it is.
You
So
will figure it out.
there's a lot to be I'm learning as well. This is also like I'm new to a couple of things here. If it was Kubernetes, it was something that I'm comfortable with, and I could have. But these are like new things, and that's the challenge. That's what we were here for. That like that's what excites me, and I'm sure like similar projects is what excites you folks and every other builder out there. It's like, what are we trying to solve?
Yeah.
How much can we push? Like we are now at a point where imagine like if and this project I'm not white coding it because Like there's so many unknowns, and then already vibe coding ends up in so much unknowns. Um, Particularly if you are not sure of what you're doing. So I don't want to go in that path. We'll see.
But
And
out
I'm
of
I'm I'm hoping,
curiosity,
yeah.
I was just about to say, out of curiosity, I just wanted you to give it a try, giving the diagram that we have created to see that what's the output of while coding. Not to
It
continue,
did.
just to,
It
yeah,
did. I did try it out.
yeah,
It did create like a simple producer consumer, but it was pretty basic. So there was like a topic where it was like publishing into it, and there was like a consumer agent that was like yeah,
right,
subscribing to it.
yeah,
But in this case, like if you think about it, yeah, I mean that was like a simple Python microservice app that it
right,
like a two-tier application or something.
yeah,
But the point where I'm like building it is like I'm having a front end and there's a back end, right? And then these the information is actually stored in like some sort of a database cluster somewhere,
right,
which is hooked into your Kafka cluster.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah,
you have your, so it's constantly streaming it into your topics, and then you have kind of like an orchestrator agent, which is like your master agent, which is
mm,
aware of, which is connected to an LLM, and it's like, okay, if this is a particular type of request, or let's say it's going to be a paint job, we give it to the painting agent. Okay, if it's something with the body work, this task goes to the kind of like
right,
a single router, agent router, so to speak. Maybe the one I need to be like deliberate about like how I
yeah,
ask in vibe, like when I vibe code, I need to be very specific about it.
yeah,
But I would rather first try to understand the fundamentals of what I'm trying to build here
yeah,
without
right.
like just building something. I did try that and I did not understand anything, and then I just threw it away, and then it started from scratch. Um, but
Good, good, yeah.
talking
It
about
sounds
vibe
more
coding,
like,
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
go ahead.
I was just adding, it sounds like you're trying to build a smart Kubernetes cluster. Scheduler is trying to know, okay, uh, like which node I will give the job and what node will do what. But it's smart.
Which is which is why I really like Kubernetes because of how they've designed the whole framework. It is for me, it's like amazing how they've thought about like the abstractions and also thinking about like how did you even think about it? I would be curious to understand how they actually thought about maybe there's some talk, maybe uh, there is some like blog post behind it. Yeah, yeah. But it's
this
yeah,
is
sort
quite
of
good.
Adriana says that it's like a, yeah, you have like a manager agent, which is like pretty much my role here is like take up uh
Correct.
different requests from different teams. And then, hey, okay, if it's AI specific one, we give it to Narsi. If it's Kubernetes specific job, we give it to our Yash agent. And if it's like full stack job, we give it to Hymantika agent. And then the manager, that is me, the manager agent is just keeping track of who's doing what. So literally, I'm trying to codify my job as an architecture. Yeah, I think that's the best way to summarize it. And over to the next uh, topic, because talking about vibe coding, one of our like yeah, social team reached out to us with like an interesting um, a tweet about someone building a game. So I'm going to share this with you, and it's shout out to Glenn, and I'm going to reach out. Like we've already reached out to Glenn. It is I was just fascinated by how Glenn was able to build this project. It is a multiplayer driving game that Glenn has built where people like from the across the globe can join, and then you can drive your car across the entire globe. I think he's used like WebGL, and he used like a couple of 3D graphics libraries, JavaScript graphic libraries. Um, the interesting part is he's entirely vibe coded this project.
Nice.
Glenn has literally vibe coded the entire project. Like this is, uh, can you see this screen?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
We should share it with the community. We should share it with the folks. And I've also, uh, and he's also using DigitalOcean spaces to store like some of his assets. Um, he's entirely vibe coded the project. And I actually played the game. It's really nice. I think you should just go to I think play Glenn. Let me share the playglenn.com,
Yeah.
um, and then just try it out. So just try it out. So you can basically choose your car. Uh, then
Can we join you?
yeah,
Wow,
you
it's
can
really
actually
cool.
yeah. Imagine vibe coding this entire project. So he's
Oh,
definitely a
love that.
proper vibe coder. And maybe I should just learn from Glenn on how he's what prompts he used and what technique he used to vibe code this project. Um, this would be amazing. Like if we can build
Yeah.
something like this and then just run it on our DigitalOcean infrastructure, like completely, which is
Yeah.
definitely possible. I think this is some like an interesting project that we should look into, like a real-time game where we can just share it. Under the hood, it's just running on our infra, but people across the globe can, let's say I want to go to, I don't know, Bangalore, right? We'll see what happens. Teleport me to Bangalore.
I think we'll be stuck in
Not
traffic.
not bad for a white coded project, right?
Yeah. Really
Yeah.
nice.
Okay, that was that. Let me share that with the folks as well.
Team online.
Okay, cool. Narsi, what's happening in the AI
Nice.
world? You're
There
up
is
to
so
date with
much
everything.
happening always in the AI world. So
Every day
yeah,
something new comes up.
every day there is no stopping. And yeah, I was looking at what's there in the Hugging Face, and I just found there is one new model which is trending already. It's called AM Thinking V1. Let me share.
I'll
Mm,
share the link.
yeah.
What's special about it?
Uh, is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I think it's best explained with some highlights. So uh, this one is actually a dense language model. So basically, it is using the Quen model, Quen 2.5 or 2.532 billion base. They have used this base model. We know Quen models from Alibaba. So they have used that, the base one, and they have basically this Quen model, the 2.5 model is the mixture of experts model. There are so many mixture of experts model nowadays, but they really wanted to build something the dense model, which is not a MOE and also a smaller one. So that's the reason behind building this model. And so the good thing is, or the interesting thing is that although it is such a small model and it is taken from this, it is still having much. I mean, it is comparable to the larger MOE models like DeepSeek R1 and Quen 3 to 35 billion. Uh, what is the advantage? Is that so we know that some of these models are like really difficult to deploy itself on. Basically, it requires large GPU setup, and that is where this comes in. And because it actually gives you comparable benchmarks for these ones, it can be deployed on like even 880 GB NVIDIA GPU itself. So that is easily deployable to our H100s in the GPU droplets. So that's amazing thing about this, and it's a thinking model. So we can easily see to it that how we can use this. probably instead of DeepSeek R1 and see the results. That's another thing we can try. So there are so many details about this, and they have given the benchmarks and they have given the model parameters, where does it stand, and things like that. So code generation, they are saying this is one of the good use cases for this. Probably you might have seen this example. Like usually, many people try it out, saying that okay, if the model gets this right, then it can be considered as okay, at least a better model. So a triangle which is already rotating and the ball is bouncing within the boundaries. So you might have seen this example many times with many of the models, where some of the models fails. You can see how it actually does not change the direction sometimes after the bouncing, or it does not sometimes limit within itself in the boundary and things like that. So yeah, that this means that okay, this actually is a it is giving a good performance for actually a smaller model of this scale. Yeah, so something what we have to try is see how this actually compares with probably the DeepSeek R1 and a couple of other models that we have, especially because of the size that is like very small. And probably we can see how to use this on the GPU droplets, something which I'm gonna plan to try.
It's good, Narsi. Yeah, we're also launching a couple of yeah our GPU droplets with different other GPU variants as well, and that's I think is going to
Right.
be something that we can definitely try for a demo. Um,
Yeah, absolutely.
nice. Now, talking about someone who doesn't use Cursor or Windsurf and uses only NeoVim, um, and he was taking a dig at us. Let us hand it over to Yash, who's going to show us how he's screwing up with Kubernetes by adding more complexity to it or not. Yash.
Like
Yeah.
in the starting, you said like in LLM and in Kubernetes, what can go wrong? My whole Kubernetes got wrong. I'm not able to access it, but I can share some things that might be interesting. Let me share. So I hope my screen is visible.
Yeah.
So right now I'm getting error because I recently lost access to my cluster, but this is an like Llama 3.1 model which I run into the Kubernetes cluster in my Kubernetes cluster, and it was working pretty fine, and the response was pretty fast as well because I used the NVIDIA H100 GPU for my Kubernetes.
So just
So
to stop you right there. No, it's can you like give us like what are you trying to build here? Like give me an overview. Like I'm trying to understand. You have a Kubernetes cluster, and then like how are you? What are you doing now?
okay, so in Kubernetes cluster, so what I tried to do is I tried to run LLM in Kubernetes cluster,
Okay.
and I'm trying to explore like Kubernetes is very powerful. Like you can also run
Oh, so
LLM in
you're
that.
using our DOK like GPU powered DOKS cluster.
Yes,
Okay.
Okay,
yes,
So okay.
nice.
So to
yes,
give context is so our Kubernetes nodes um i- in essence they are like virtual machines, but they are
yes,
H100 powered nodes that so you can run your GPU like AI ML workloads on our DigitalOcean Kubernetes. All right. Okay.
yes, yes. So once you create the cluster and GPU droplets, like GPU nodes in your cluster, you can run the LLM in that. You just need to make sure you are set up properly. Like you need to install some Kubernetes operators. I was going to show that, but I recently lost access to my Kubernetes cluster.
So did you
But
use the NVIDIA GPU operator?
yes,
And
the
does it
NVIDIA
work? Like
GPU.
it was broken a while back. Now it is working now?
Yeah,
Okay, that's
this
good.
one.
Mm.
I use this
Okay.
operator. So this operator like helped me to get the. I also set up the Prometheus as well. So this operator helped me to get the access to the data and like get the data for the monitoring and both as well to manage it to run my Llama LLM.
Okay. So
So
you're running
yeah,
now an LLM as a service?
Yeah, I running LLM as a service. I used Helm, so NVIDIA have a Helm one. So shout
Yeah,
out
yeah,
to
Helm
Vikram.
operator.
Vikram put it good step-by-step guide as well for the talks as well. So he there is one thing he mentioned in his. I was checking his like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
repository. He mentioned how you can use the Helm chart to deploy the Llama one. So I similarly use something like that. So although I recently lost access, but once you able to run it, like you just need to set up a SMB. So SMB is like when you download this big level of LLM, you need a space, right? So you cannot install it in a Kubernetes cluster. Otherwise, next time you will lost it. So I just created a droplet in which I downloaded. So I think it's in the droplet. So in this one, this is the droplet I created. In this droplet, I have a volume, and in that volume, I installed the LLM, and then attach this SMB to my Kubernetes cluster, so that if there is new GPU or nodes I created, maybe 4, 5, or 6, they are able to access this without like otherwise they need to fetch the 50 gigabytes of LLM every time we
Oh,
create a new.
that's really smart. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that an
So
industry
once
practice?
yeah, we follow this kind of practice. So it's like a SMB. We call it SMB in Kubernetes. So SMB
No, no,
where
for
you
especially for like models, and then is that how people are doing? Okay.
yeah. So this is yeah standard practice. It's a persistent volume. So we're just trying
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
create. Yeah,
But no, I was curious,
not
like, is
sure
this
about
how
the
people
LLM.
are also like downloading models as and then mounting the volume as a persistent storage? Interesting.
Yeah. So this is something I did so that let's say I just recently lost access to my Kubernetes cluster. Now I'll create the new one, but now
Yeah.
I don't need to re-download it. I have already downloaded it. It's up and running, so I will just connect it and it will work fine. So that's the benefit of it. So yeah, it worked fine. I was hoping I was able to show you the live demo, but I lost the access.
Okay, so you downloaded the model, and then there's the Kubernetes cluster. What are you what are you asking? Like, what is the use of this?
What is like this is one of the tests
Like,
where I'm
what
trying
workload
to.
are you running? And then what is that interface? Like, I see a chat interface.
Hmm, hmm.
What does it do? So you can ask questions about your cluster, or
Yeah, you can ask anything. It's llama model, it's trained model already, so we can just I'm using API which is running on my Kubernetes cluster. So I'm trying to run the large language model on my Kubernetes cluster. Next I will try to experiment to train large language model on cluster. So first I started with serving it, then I'll start with trying out how can I train
okay.
it, because Kubernetes provides a big level of architecture for you to do that kind of stuff.
Okay, so I got confused. So I thought like you have this which has insights of your cluster, and I can ask questions about what service is up, what are the pods, basically like an intelligent K9s or intelligent, I don't know, lens. So I thought
No, no,
that's
no,
the thing,
not
but
like
you're
that.
actually now
What's
serving a
other?
model and then you want
Yes.
to train the model. That's great. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay, I misunderstood that you've already has that insights and you can ask this interface anything about your cluster because building something like that would be really useful. Like if I want to get more insights about a pod, um, yeah, and then like another stateful set or something like that, whatever is happening, like instead of using KNNS, and I love KNNS by the way, but to get more insights, maybe that's something that you can think about. And I know like our solutions architects are also thinking along those lines, so maybe um, you- we can talk about it offline.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. As you said like earlier, when you dig deeper, you figure out okay, it's much more. There is much more need to be done. There is much more need to be learned before doing that. So I'm kind of on that phase as well.
Yeah, but then we need to like try to make sure that we document it in terms of like a
Yeah.
video or a tutorial so that people like we go through this process not just for us but for the community, for our developers who can basically we do the hard work of going through the grind and then saving them time, right? So that also helps, and this is going to be Really nice. Looking forward to it.
Definitely.
Nice, nice. Good stuff happening. So everybody's building amazing things. That's nice.
Yes, yes, very cool demo. I think after this, I still haven't built anything with Kubernetes, but after this demo, I'm going to Yash for Kubernetes classes so that he can teach me how to build with it and also use AI. So like that's very cool.
It's nice. Yas is also giving a talk at KubeCon about, and he's one of the open source maintainers of a project Meshery. So looking forward to learning a lot from you, Yash.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, I'll be giving a talk in KubeCon
As
sometime.
long as you change your name to not all caps to
I
proper
did. I
cases.
changed my. I changed it.
Yash had his
It's
LinkedIn
good.
at full caps, and that was just like like bugging me like crazy. Like I don't know for some reason.
I
When,
wasn't
when I
aware
open
that we
my
have a
feed, it's like
OCD.
Yash Sharma. Like anyway, nice. Thanks to all the, I think we have about 430 people who've joined us. Thank you so much for joining in. If there are topics that you want us to discuss, please share it with us. Do join our Discord, and if there are, yeah, let us know if there are issues or anything that you come across. We're happy to help you. We're here for that to make sure that you have a nice experience. Yeah. And then thanks to Yash, Narsi, and Haimantika for joining in today. And we will see you all next week.
Definitely. Thanks
Thank you
to
so
Avi
much,
as well.
everybody.
Buddy.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.